Last week I posted a video which is about 2 minutes in length, which was a guitar solo over a backing track. But what was all that about? Stay tuned to find out. Scott Poley of Scott Poley Music recently released a video on his YouTube channel, which you must check out, and also his Instagram feed, which was a competition in response to the launch of the PRS Silver Sky SE, which he reviewed.
This video marks the start of my brand new solo challenge. If you're a musician, go and head over to my YouTube channel. The link is in the description. You get the chance to play over a really great track with some fantastic musicians and also win some free stuff too. So go and check that out and I'll catch you there.
Scott Poley needs little in the way of introduction really. Is the musical director of Rumours of Fleetwood Mac, which is a very successful stage show which celebrates the music of Fleetwood Mac, which tours the world. Check them out, it's well worth having a good look at. But he's also a songwriter, session musician, great guitarist, but equally he's very good on the pedal steel guitar as well, which is great really. And he's got a fantastic YouTube channel. Suggest you have a look at that, because that is where you can find Josephine in its entirety from beginning to end with some really good, talented musicians. Scott has made the backing track available for the outro solo. Now, there's been a few entries so far, and I thought, do you know what, I'll have a bit of a go at this. I've decided to do Scott's Silver Sky Challenge, which is at Scott Poley from Scott Poley Music. Sarah Jory is one of the entrants in the competition, and she's a pedal steel player. Or until I actually did a little bit of research on Wikipedia, but she's also a great guitarist as well. She's a professional musician. She's been in the business for the past few decades, and she's got very good credentials as well. She's worked with Eric Clapton and Van Morrison, and I'm thinking, hang on, I'm on the same sort of level here in terms of the competition. And if I'm playing alongside people like that, I'm thinking, well, it's got to be a good thing. Okay, so I was trying to find a little bit of a vibe with what is a backing track that is no more than 2 minutes in length. And having listened to the backing track, you'll hear there's some nice sort of bits of melodic, soft rhythm guitar by Scott Poley, nice bass line. There's some great sort of backing vocals that build towards the end, and then it basically sort of fades away as the actual track finishes. And you've got a lot to think about in terms of what we're going to play, how we're going to play it, what we're going to play it on, what tones do I want, phrasing, expression, and all this kind of things have come into it. So it's not really a simple thing. So I went through every single guitar that I had, which was the Firebird, the Ibanez JS1000, the Telecaster, the Gibson Les Paul Standard Gold Top, which I've got, and I ultimately ended up with the Black Strat. It's my workhorse for gigging. Every single gig that I go to, that guitar is by my side, so I'm very familiar with its tones and what it offers me as a guitarist. So having looked at the backing track, it starts off very, very soft and quite slow. So I've got to have a guitar which is very sensitive in terms of volume and output. And as the song increases, I'm increasing the volume on my volume control to bring it to the point of edge of break-up. And as the song progresses even further, you'll see that I flick the 5-way selector switch to activate the bridge pickup, which is a DiMarzio stacked humbucker. And just to give it a bit more killer punch, a bit more dynamic tone. And towards the end of the song, we sort of drop off again, but I'm still in that the bridge position. And I think the reason why I picked that guitar was because it offers me that flexibility. It's very easy to control, and I think it offered me some really good tones during that track. In terms of the technical side of recording the track, the black Stratocaster went into my Laney IRT60 head. The head was directly inputted into my digital audio workstation, which I use Ableton. And that is where I recorded my entry. Now, the only effects I had on was the MXR carbon copy delay, that was on my pedal board. Having said that, when I've actually mixed the track, I've put on a little bit of hall reverb, and I've just moved it over into the balance a little bit on the right-hand speaker, probably around about sort of 15%, if that, to be honest, just to add a little bit of movement further within the mix of the track. So I've started off in the neck position with the Stratocaster, and I've suddenly realised, in the context of the song Josephine, I found that the neck pickup sounded too bright, it sounded too glassy in the normal Fender sense. So what you'll notice in the video is I've backed the tone control back to around about its middle position, to about position 5, just to give it a little bit of warmth. Now, as the song has progressed, I've then increased that back to full brightness to cut through the mix when the song becomes more dynamic. And that is very evident within the video. So if you look closer, you'll find that I'm not only on the volume knob quite a lot, but I'm also just in the tone as well as I'm playing. So in terms of playing guitar solos, you found that your left hand's playing the melody, but your right hand's actually making that melody work. But you're also having to operate the fine controls of the guitar to give you the values that you want out of it. What you will notice in the track is that I've repeated several sort of passages, but I've changed the phrasing to suit the mood of the track, and I've changed obviously the positions of those phrases across the fretboard of the guitar. So how would my guitar solo fit into the original recording of Josephine? Well, unfortunately guys, I'm unable to do that, but it's something that's spun around in my head. The reason is this really, is because when you're given, say, a 1 50 backing track, you're working to what is provided to get a flavour, to put your soul into it, if you will. But would my solo have suited the full song? And it's also an interesting one for the other competitors out there who've put entries in. How would theirs have fared at the end of Josephine in terms of a connection with the full song? I really don't know, but it's just a little bit of a thing that's been buzzing around my head this last week. How would it have worked at the back end of the song? But let me know. I had a question on YouTube just a few days ago from Aidan Tavicoli, and he asked a great question. Is the Black Strat a Fender Custom Shop product? And to be honest, Aidan, it isn't. In fact, I'll just go, it's on the guitar stand here at the minute. It is, by all accounts, and I've featured this in Gigs and Guitars. It's the American Vintage reissue of a 1957 Stratocaster. Now this is a factory edition which Fender called the Hot Rod, and the reason why it's called the Hot Rod is very simply this. It's got a 9.5 inch radius profile on the neck. You won't be able to tell that on there, but that's one of the main differences. The pickups on this guitar are Fender noiseless pickups, with exception to the DiMarzio bridge pickup there, which is a stacked humbucker. And these are all factory mods, if you will. So technically what you could say, even though it's an American Vintage reissue, I would probably argue it's Fender Custom Shop all the way through. because it's got the in-house mods that you will get with a Fender Custom Shop. The build quality is exceptional. You're not going to pay the prices of a Fender Custom Shop guitar. To be honest, I bought this a few years ago. It was about £1,500. I've done loads of gigs with this. It's great, it's dead versatile, and it's a great, fantastic guitar which looks and sounds brilliant. Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of Gigs and Guitars. I will let you know how I get on in the competition, and if you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing. Check out my Instagram feed, there's some really good information there. Hit me the bell icon, that will tell you when I've released a new video, and there is always time in the day for a brew. Cracking.